Ultra Squad, look, man, this is a crazy one. This really happened very recently, actually. At least social media has been publishing this at least about 10 hours ago. I'm looking at it right now. But apparently, ICE has kidnapped, detained a 5-year-old little boy alongside his father, of course. Apparently, they were after the father, but people are going crazy saying, oh my God, ICE kidnapped the little boy. What the heck is wrong with them? They have no feelings towards humanity. They're evil, all this stuff, right? Now, normally when you're hearing things like that, it's going to be mostly on the left side, the Democrats or whoever you want to say. I feel like overall the left feels a certain way towards, of course, Trump or, the right, which is Republicans, and just about ICE and law enforcement in general. They think law enforcement in the totality of what it is just evil, corrupt, racist people in the government as well. I'm not denying any of that. Is it everybody? Is it every single one of them? No. I believe I've seen a couple of clips of ICE officers or agents doing things that they really weren't supposed to do. And it's like, that was unnecessary. You know what I mean? You ever see like a cop, making an arrest or like talking to somebody and they just arrest them for no reason? Or they're like doing a little extra when it's not even called for, when it's not even necessary, when the person is like not resisting arrest whatsoever, and then the cop is just manhandling them or roughing them up a little bit. It's like, sir, they're not even, resisting. And then there'll be people on the right be like, I don't know about that. Let me see all the details. Let me see all the footage. And then it's just all the footage. They're like, well, he must have just, you know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, the left will see a clip out of context and see a cop doing something and be like, oh my God, the cop's racist, but you didn't even get the full context of the video. You know what I'm saying? This is why each side, everybody got to see full context when it comes to everything. So I'm gonna look at both POVs. I'm gonna look at people saying he's got kidnapped, whatever, and see if there's also a little bit more to it. Let's see.
Why detain a 5-year-old? You can't tell me that this child is going to be classified as a violent criminal.
School officials in Minneapolis say 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos was detained with his father by federal agents when he returned home from school.
Another adult living in the home was outside and begged the agents to let him take care of the child and was refused. Instead, the agent took the child out of the still running car, led him to the door, and directed him to knock on the door, asking to be let in order to see if anyone else was home, essentially using a 5-year-old as bait.
Wow. ICE responded on X, denying that they used the child as bait.
Hold on, now let's run that back. We got to read the. Hold on, maybe
He's one of the 4 students from the Columbia Heights Public Schools District detained by ICE in the past 2 weeks. That, according to the district's superintendent.
This family is following U.S. legal parameters and has an active asylum case with no order of deportation. I have viewed the legal paperwork with my own eyes.
Liam and his father presented themselves to border officers in Texas in December 2024 to apply for asylum. They are now being held at an ICE facility for families in Texas, a source told CNN. The Department of Homeland Security told CNN.
All right, let's see what it say. On January 20th, ICE conducted, I can't even read that. ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. Is this true? By the Biden administration? You know how both sides be lying. This is what I'm saying, people. This is what I'm saying. As agents approached the driver, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias fled on foot, abandoning his child. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remained with the child while the officers apprehended Conejo. Parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the children with a safe person the parents designate. This is consistent with past administrations' immigration enforcement. Parents can take control of their departure and receive a free flight and $2,600 with the CBP Home app By using the CBP Home app, illegal aliens reserve the chance to blah, 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 blah. I can't read the rest of it. Interesting.
A statement that the father was the intended target of the operation and, quote, ICE did not target a child. It said an ICE agent stayed with Liam after his father, quote, fled on foot, abandoning his child.
That would be crazy.
Approached him. DHS says parents can decide if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE can place children with a safe person the parent designates.
The family is pursuing an asylum claim, which is lawful to do.
Why detain
So,
a
in
5-year-old?
other words, the parent can decide if they want to be deported with the child, or, you know, that's interesting. Let's look at the comments real quick. Heartbreaking. The little boy must have been scared. That's true. These are crimes against humanity. I don't know about all that. Maybe tomorrow they will change the lies with a better lie. Now, I ain't gonna lie, you know, they love to throw that, oh, it's Biden's fault, it's Biden's administration's fault. Not saying certain cases where that is the case, but both sides are gonna blame the other for any and everything. We know how this goes. Let's just be real. For anybody to get mad at me, it's true. It's true. You see memes on it on social media. You can literally click on the politics side of TikTok and you'll see it. Like, I've literally seen it. I've literally seen people blame the weather on each party. Like, y'all just be saying anything, bro. Y'all be too deep in this, bro. Like, this is literally a religion for a lot of y'all. Alright, so we just seen CNN put that clip out. Then the people that was in the video speaking on it and saying, why would they even do that to the child when there was a family member or somebody that was in the house that could have watched over the child? I don't know, but we got to really get the facts straight. So this is a reporter asking J.D. Vance, the vice president, about, you know, the school district with ICE and whatnot.
A local school district here is alleging ICE agents detained a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE in the last 6 weeks. Are you proud of how your administration is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm
tired,
proud of the
y'all.
fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you know, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy, and I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien, and then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense. No one thinks that makes any sense. Now, you know, there are so many of these cases like that where if you just understand the context.
He has yet to mention if there was another person that was able to watch over the child, like the lady in CNN mentioned.
There have been a number of situations that I've looked into personally where I say, wait a second, we don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens. So then I look into it and I find out that the American citizen who was arrested took a swing at an ICE officer. You can't have that happen. And of course they have to defend themselves. And of course they have the right to detain somebody who assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point. Do we want these things to happen? Do we want these arrests to be so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all, but if we had a little cooperation from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
Listen, let's look at the comments real quick. Driving under the influence. Oh, you have a kid. Go right ahead, sir. Sorry for the stop. What do you? I don't get that. Maybe leave him with the U.S. citizen family member who begged the ICE agents to leave the child with him. See, if that is the case, JD did not mention that. The man did not mention that. Never underestimate the stupidity of the general public. Bull spit, pops here, a lying sack of crap. The media is the enemy of the people, man. Even in the title, you will purposely misinform. We gotta find out. We gotta see if that kid actually had another family member in there. All right, so this lady right here, this young lady right here, Amala. I follow her. You know, I'm subscribed to her or whatnot. I don't agree with every single thing that she talks about in her videos, but she does make good content overall. So let me see what she said real quick, because I knew she spoke on this. I knew she did. Her cute
trafficking story being shared a lot about ICE detaining a 5-year-old Minnesotan boy as he was coming home from school, and it's time to debunk this narrative. I'm sick, and I'm sure you can tell, but we're going to keep going. The official Democrats page posted this. In Minneapolis, ICE arrested a 5-year-old coming home from preschool and tried to use him as human bait. His teacher described him as a, quote, bright young student, end quote. These monsters are sick, with a picture of a little boy. Of course, now that the story is being posted everywhere and people are literally running with the narrative that ICE is abducting children off the street, the Department of Homeland Security decided to clear the situation up. They write, ICE did not target a child. The child was abandoned. On January 20th, ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Corneo Arias, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. They go on to say that as agents were approaching the driver, Arias, he fled on foot, abandoning his child. For the child's safety, one of the ICE officers remained with the child while the other officers apprehended Corneo Arias. They explain further that parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the child with a safe person that the parent designates, and that this has been consistent with past administrations' immigration enforcement. So now, instead of telling you the truth, the Democrats are posting that ICE arrested a 5-year-old coming home from preschool and that they tried to use him as human bait. The governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, is saying that masked agents are snatching preschoolers off the street and sending them to Texas detention centers. None of them are choosing to tell the truth, which is that this 5-year-old's father entered the country illegally, knew he was in this country illegally, and when he was confronted by ICE, he chose to abandon his 5-year-old. On top of that, ICE under the current administration handled this situation in a way in which I would hope ICE under any administration would handle this situation.
Shout out to let me have you close your mouth, sweetheart. You know, you're too cute for that. But no, shout out to her. But this is the thing. This is the thing about this. Say that this story is 100% true. This is the truth. There's always going to be people like, nope, this is cap, bull crap. I don't want to hear none of that. They're lying. This is a lie. This is a cover up. Is there a possibility? There's always a possibility for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Has the government lied to people before? I'm pretty sure it's been plenty of times, of course. Presidents, of course. Law enforcement, of course. We've seen cops literally get caught on camera planting drugs on people. And to clarify that does not always happen. I'm just playing the middle field here, people. You know what I mean? So no matter how much evidence some people see, there's always going to be them people that be like, bull crap on both sides. You know what I mean? And this is overall a sad story. It really is a sad story. You know, that these things happen. I'm just glad I'm privileged to be who I am. You know, I don't got the best life. There's a lot going on in my life, just like everybody else got certain things going on in their life. But we could all be in worse situations right now. You know what I mean? Way worse situations. And I have yet to see anything about the family member. Let me look that up real quick, just to I have to clarify that. 5-year-old ICE family member. Fundraiser for 5-year-old boy taken by ICE receives more than 100,000. That's crazy. Okay, hold on. This is a video.
I know you were not there, but you did speak to Liam's mother, who we're told was actually home when ICE agents arrived. How is she doing tonight? What did she tell you about what happened?
Well, you know, I spoke with her a few.
Was his mother there? Where's the proof of this? Because I'm trying to get each and every detail. At least the best that I can do. You know what I'm saying? Where's the 5-year-old's mother? Where's she at?
Times and she was terrified. They were using this baby. The ICE agents were trying to use the baby for her to come out of her house, but the neighbors step up. Neighbors advised her not to do it. The neighbors were trying to get the baby or the 5-year-old to give it to her, and this is a pregnant woman with another 13 or 14-year-old boy as well.
She believes that they were trying to get her to come out. She didn't believe that they weren't going to take her as well.
No, absolutely. And I believe her because I've seen how they're acting here in Minneapolis. You know, I'm a pastor from Mexico, and I've seen how cartels work in Mexico. And just so you know, as a pastor, I'm telling you this, ICE in Minnesota is acting worse than the cartels in Mexico. In Mexico, cartels don't target kids or pregnant women. And ICE is just not respecting the law. The difference between...
That's crazy to say. That is crazy. You know what I mean? I kind of wish I could understand his POV. I've never been to Mexico in my life, so he might have a little knowledge on that. But at the same time, let's not blow that out of context, because you could be a random person and they can stop you or like roadblock you on the road. I've seen videos. You know what I mean? Now, to his point, if he's saying if they do stop somebody in the road, try to like, you know, take if they try to like rob them or something like that or whatever, maybe they like, oh wait, y'all got a kid in the car? Y'all can go. I don't know how that worked. You know what I'm saying? I doubt it, but I don't know how that worked. But I don't know about all that, man. It's not like ICE is just randomly roadblocking people, stopping them from going through the road, just stopping everybody trying to rob them, all that. So I don't know. That might have been a little too far, bro.
ICE and cartels in Mexico is the ICE at community here. They killed Rene Nicole, and they're just doing horrible things here in Minnesota. Arresting criminals. A 5-year-old, and today there's a 2-year-old missing too.
There is.
Where is the 5-year-old boy's mother? I wanted to find something about the mother so bad. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough. Maybe I had to make a second video. If anybody can find footage or like leave me a comment where I can find footage, please let me know. You know, this is a whole crazy story, man. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm going to end it here. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that, you know, the statement that ICE put out, JD Vance, you have to go by because it's law enforcement and the government, you know, or do you think they're lying? You know how people be, oh, the government are liars, they're frauds, they don't care about the people. What do you guys think? You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave it there. Like I said, we out.